So, I was still in college when the Nissan Frontier received its first update. Well, 17 years later, we finally have a new one. Now that I've probably given away how old I am, let me introduce myself. My name is Omar, and this is the 2022 Nissan Frontier. And if you're as old as me and you enjoy cars, consider subscribing. I drop a new car review every single week, sometimes two, sometimes even three, so you might enjoy my stuff. So even though the Frontier had been aging for nearly 2 decades, sales of the model have remained surprisingly strong. Nonetheless, that gave the Toyota Tacoma some time to expand its lead over the Frontier, and there have also been some newcomers that are looking to dominate the segment. The Frontier now hopes to keep holding on to its annual sales with a 2022 model year that's almost all new. It's got a brand new exterior that looks very sharp, bold, and rugged. I really like the redesign here quite a bit. It also has a brand new interior. However, it still rides on the same platform as the outgoing Frontier, and it's powered by the same 3.8-liter V6 that joined the Frontier in 2020. Now, I would love to tell you how the new Frontier drives as compared to the outgoing one, but I can't. I haven't driven the outgoing Frontier in ages because I never really cared to revisit it since nothing really ever changed. But in general, the Frontier is a very comfortable daily driver. It might not be as capable as some of the competition, but it is capable enough for me. I'm never gonna tow something that weighs over 6,000 pounds, even if it weighs 6,000 pounds, and I will never haul anything that weighs more than 1,200 pounds in the bed. That said, the Frontier to me is a more comfortable daily driver than some of the competition, even though the one that I'm testing here, the Pro 4X, is meant to be the more off-road focused one. This is a pickup that I can live with on a daily basis. So, should you consider the Frontier over the competition? Let's find out. Let me give you a quick tour, and then I'll give you my opinion on how the new 2022 Frontier stacks up against the competition. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe. All right, let's do this. All right, before we get into everything else, let's take a look at some of the cool and interesting things that you should know about the new Nissan Frontier, or Nissan. I think that's how they say it in England, right? Nissan Frontier. Now, one of the first things that I noticed when I got inside, besides the new cabin, was this really cool animation that plays in the 7-inch display inside the gauge cluster. This gauge cluster is standard on all Frontiers, so I'm pretty sure all of them do that. Next up, let's talk Pro X and Pro 4X. Those are the more off-road friendly versions, and as you can see, they look pretty boss. Keep in mind though, this isn't a direct rival to the TRD Pro, this is more of a rival to the TRD Off-Road. That said, this is the only trim that will give you LED headlamps, LED daytime running lights, and LED fog lights, and the new design of the headlamps and the daytime running lights looks really cool here. You get some nice lava red accents like the Nissan emblem right here on the front. Now, off-road gear-wise, the Pro 4X gets an electronic locking rear differential, along with these really nice Bilstein off-road shock absorbers. You get 3 steel underbody skid plates, and you also get 17-inch alloy wheels that are wrapped in all-terrain tires. But if you want to spice things up a little bit, you can add on this really cool sport bar for an extra $1,095. It has integrated LED brake lights, and it also has LED bed lights so you can see what's going on in your bed in the dark, and it also gets these really cool Frontier logos on both sides. And you can continue to make your Frontier Pro 4X look cooler with a Frontier stamp that's blacked out on the tailgate for an extra $140. You can add some side window deflectors for $240, a black finished exhaust for $80, and a giant graphic on the hood for $500 because graphics are a must for off-road pickup trucks. Now let's talk pricing details a little bit. The new Frontier starts at $27,840 for the King Cab S 4x2. And it goes all the way up to $34,240 if you want to go for the Pro X 4x2. 4x4 will cost you an extra $3,000 to $3,200 if you want to add that on. And as you can see, if you want the Pro X, you can only get it in the crew cab configuration with the 5-foot bed. Now, when it comes to pickups in general, there are so many configurations and options that you can add, so I'm not going to run through everything like I usually do. That said, there isn't a lot of fun standard stuff that you get in the new Frontier. You'll get the basics, including an 8-inch touchscreen display, with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard, so that's not bad. Each Frontier comes standard with this 7-inch display in the gauge cluster that's pretty well packed with a lot of useful information. You'll get keyless entry, however, you just have to push this button and that's the keyless entry. You don't just grab the handle and pull. And you also get push button start. And then you have hill start assist and trailer sway control amongst many other things. One thing that I found interesting is that you don't get a spray on bed liner for the bed as standard option. That only gets added on the SV trims and above, and I feel like that should just be standard. And then the upgraded 9-inch touchscreen display only becomes standard on the Pro X and Pro 4X. I feel like it should become standard on lower trims. That said, you have 3 packages that you can pick from, and my test model here has all of them. First up, you have the technology package for $990, and that basically adds on a range of driver assist tech like adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, lane departure warning, traffic sign recognition, and much more. And then you have the convenience package for $1,990, and that adds on a channel track system with 4 adjustable tie-down cleats in the back of the bed. It also gives you a bed-mounted 120-volt outlet and another 120-volt outlet in the rear seat. You get remote start with climate settings. You also get heated front seats and a heated steering wheel, along with a 360-degree camera and a wireless charger, amongst many other things. And then the most expensive package is the Pro Premium package for $2,790, and that gives you these 17-inch beadlock style wheels. They're not beadlock capable, but just in the style of beadlock capable wheels. It also adds on a solid 10-speaker Fender sound system. You get leather seats with black interior stitching, but I'd much rather have it with the red stitching and red trim that you can only get without this package. And this package will also give you a sliding moonroof, which I also think should have been standard on other mid trims. Let's talk horsepower and torque really quick. Nothing too different here. It's still powered by a 3.8-liter V6, pumping out a total of 310 horsepower and 281 pound-feet of torque, and it's mated to a 9-speed automatic transmission. The Pro 4X that I'm driving here has a max towing capacity of 6,270 pounds and a max payload of 1,230 pounds. Both of those figures aren't bad, but they aren't class leading. As for performance, the Nissan Frontier will do 0 to 60 in about 7.5 seconds, which is not that bad, and you have a top speed of 112 miles an hour. Fuel economy wise, the Frontier Pro 4X that I'm driving here gets a total of 17 city and 22 highway. You have a 21-gallon tank capacity. I'm averaging, after a few days of driving, a total of 16.9 miles a gallon. Now let's quickly take a look at the exterior design of the new Frontier, because that's where you'll notice a lot of the changes. It still sits on the same platform as the outgoing model, so the wheelbase is still 126 inches. But to be honest, I think Nissan absolutely killed it with the design. It's got a perfect balance of modern and rugged looks. And I personally think that it looks slightly better than the Ford Ranger, the GMC Canyon, and the Toyota Tacoma, especially in this off-road Pro 4X trim. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you like the new looks of the Frontier, or do you like the competition? Let's take a seat inside the new Frontier, and believe me, this is much, much better than the outgoing model that was aging quite a bit, and of course, it had to be. Now, you may think that this isn't as modern as other vehicles on the market today, but mid-size pickups don't really go all out. The interior of the new Frontier is pretty much on par with the rest of the segment in terms of design, quality, and layout. You definitely have a lot of hard plastic, but that's expected because these are meant to be work or adventure trucks. Now, if legroom in the second row is of any concern to you, you definitely want to go for the crew cab models, because with the crew cab, you get 33.2 inches of rear legroom. I'm about 6 foot tall. That's my seating position. As you can see, not that much space. With the king cab, you only get 26.2 inches of legroom in the second row. Now, before I give you my opinion on whether or not if you should buy the Nissan Frontier over the competition, let me point out a few random things that I'll have to show all of you. You have 4 cup holders, 2 in the front. You also have some bottle holders on the side. And then you have 2 in the back right there for the second row passengers. It is actually so cold outside that I can no longer move my mouth. I can even talk straight. Here are what the keys look like to the new Nissan Frontier. You got remote start, so let's start it up. Nice. Door open and close sound from the outside and from the inside. Very solid. Kind of surprised how solid that was. Charging game wise, all Nissan Frontier models come with the USB-C port and a USB-A port for the front row passengers. And depending on the package that you add, you will get a wireless charger right there. Second row passengers are working with a USB-C port, a USB-A port, and a household outlet. And now it's time to hear the indicator and horn here on the 2022 Nissan Frontier. Indicator first. Pretty simple indicator. Now for the horn sound. Oh yeah, and this horn is very easy to press. You don't have to like push at all. And now that I've given you a tour of the new Frontier, let me give you my opinion on how it compares to the competition. let's get to it. So here's what I would say. There are more fuel efficient and more capable options in this mid-size pickup truck segment. So if any of those two things are of concern to you, make sure you go through the segment and see which one best fits your lifestyle. But for somebody like me who won't be going off-roading, who won't be towing or hauling anything, and who just thinks that pickup trucks are cool, the Nissan Frontier is a pretty good option. It's definitely surprising to me how the mid-size pickup truck segment has seen a little bit of a resurgence as of late. I personally like pickup trucks for the coolness factor. I think they're cooler than SUVs and crossovers for sure. And the Nissan Frontier here is a pickup truck that I could see myself living with either way. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and on TikTok. My handle is @OmarDrives. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Peace. Exploring the frontier in a Nissan Frontier. Usually off-roading pickup trucks are very uncomfortable to drive on the highway. This has all-terrain tires, but they're not beefy all-terrain tires like the ones you have on Jeep Wranglers or even the Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro. So this is a nice, comfortable drive.